Conversations Over Tea by Arissa May. Conversation 3. Mulan has a secret. 3.5 years after the conversation with her mother-in-law, and Mulan is traveling. For now, peace has settled upon China, a peace that the stories say she created. Well, she certainly played her part. She looks to her left and sees her husband, Shang, who is feeding twigs into the fire as water boils over it in a pot. They have stopped for the night, and the two of them are making camp. Mulan pulls out a small enamel-painted box from one of her saddlebags and smiles as she opens it to see that she still has a few last scoops of the tea that Chun so thoughtfully sent to her the last time she and Shang stopped by on leave.
Ping?
Mulan looks over her shoulder at him. He always calls her Ping when she's in the armor. Mulan doesn't bother to correct him because although Shang understands, others overhearing might not. In any case, it evens out. Shang always calls him Mulan whenever Ping's wearing a dress.
You've been smiling to yourself a lot today,
Shang remarks. Mulan grins and uses one of the oldest and most effective deflections in her arsenal. Oh, I was just remembering my first meeting with your mother.
Shang groans. Of course you were. I get word that she has visited unexpectedly, run home from training, only to find the two of you giggling about my childish mishaps over tea.
Naturally, Mulan laughs. She never tells him that when he had come, half flinging himself through the door, wild-eyed, drenched in sweat, and desperate to protect her, even from hurt his own mother, even if it was just hurt feelings, she had fallen for him all over again. She doesn't have to. He knew. Shang looks at her, watching her face carefully.
Is that all? It's just that you've seemed...
Shang pauses.
I'm not sure what it is, but you're keeping something from me, aren't you?
Mulan pulls out her travel teapot and takes the time to make them both tea with the boiled water from the fire and the leaves from her box from her mother-in-law. Shang waits patiently. He knows that she will answer him once she has gathered her thoughts. After the tea has steeped for a few minutes, Mulan pours it into 2 cups, her hands far steadier as she sits next to the campfire in the dirt than they ever were in finer surrounds when she was dressed in expensive silks. The irony does not escape her. She breathes in the steam from her tea, drawing warmth from the cup to ward off the evening's chill. I have something to tell you, she admits to Shang. Shang takes a tiny sip from his tea, taking care not to burn his tongue. He looks her in the eyes, waiting for her to say what it is. Mulan gazes back and slowly inhales, bracing herself. She hopes he will be happy to hear this. She wants him to be happy to hear this. She needs him to be happy to hear this. I'm pregnant. Shang spits out his tea. His eyes are huge, asking an obvious question. Really? Is this really true? Mulan nods mutely. Shang gapes, drops his teacup, and drags Mulan into a hug, laughing delightedly. He lets go of Mulan only long enough to look at her face. He carefully wipes away the relieved tears streaking down her cheeks, still holding her tightly with his other arm. He kisses her damp cheek, then moves on to kiss the smile on her lips. Mulan relaxes in his arms even as she pulls her husband closer. Her child, their child, will be wanted and loved, even though this will take her away from the next battle, from her comrades, from her husband's side. She regrets nothing. If the peace does not last, the emperor will just have to understand.